let's give another hand to Mary Warner. God, she's so great. I love her. I love her. And Jane Family Orchestra. Quentin Ring, he'll meet with you. There he is, he's got his hand up. He's serious. Right there. You can make the deal right now. We'll make sure that he keeps his promise, I'm sure he will. So, does anybody have this Lou Reed Selected Poems book? Does anybody have this? Because the wonderful thing about Lou is that his lyrics really hold their own. Like, they don't even need music, a lot of them. So one of my favorites is I'll Be Your Mirror. Does everybody know that song, I'll Be Your Mirror? I don't know if I'll do it justice, but all right, we'll try. All right. Oh, I have to get my glasses. Hold on. I need glasses now. Robert Evans glasses. Okay? So I have to wear these. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'll be your mirror, reflect what you are. In case you don't know, I'll be the wind, the rain, and the sunset, the light on your door to show that you're home. When you think the night has seen your mind, that inside you're twisted and unkind, let me stand to show that you are blind. Please put down your hands, 'cause I see you. I find it hard to believe you don't know the beauty you are. But if you don't, let me be your eyes, a hand to your darkness so you won't be afraid. When you think the night has seen your mind, that inside you're twisted and unkind, let me stand to show that you are blind. Please put down your hands, 'cause I see you. I'll be your mirror. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, so one of the people that was going to be here originally, and Pat knows this story, I confided in Pat Thomas. And by the way, he has a book, a Lou Reed book out called My Week Beats Your Year. You can get it from Pat or from, do they have it here?
No, they don't here.
Okay, well,
it's on Amazon.
That's on Amazon, of course. What isn't? But this is a really great book that Pat posted about on Facebook, and I have read a review of it in the London Guardian, and it's by Bettye Kronstad. Now, I was going to ask Mary, did you ever meet Bettye? Okay, that was Lou Reed's first wife, and a lot of people don't know much about her. But she wrote this really fantastic book, and it's actually really, I think it's really well written. Some people would debate that, but I love it. So I decided when I was going to get the book, that let me see if I could just buy it directly from the author, because I know what it's like as a musician. It's good if people can buy directly, you know, you get the full money, etc. So I wrote to Bettye on Facebook. She's on Facebook, Elizabeth Kronstad. And she said, yeah, you can buy it for me, $20, and I'll sign it. And I said, great, yeah. So I bought it and sent her a check. And then I wrote her basically a fan letter saying, I love your book. I didn't know anything about you. He wrote Perfect Day about her, about a day that they spent in Central Park.
That's a great song.
It's, yeah, obviously one of the best. Dan West, who's playing piano tonight, my husband, my partner in love, he's, you know, the first time I called her, well, she gave me her number, she started talking on the phone, and I called her from Johnny Carson Park, which is a park down in Burbank. Really nice park. So we talked for a while, and I said, well, you know, would you want to come out to Los Angeles and read from your book? I could maybe get you something at a really cool place called Beyond Baroque, this place, you know. And she said, well, how much would they pay me? So I said, well, there's no guarantee, but, you know. So I said, you know, maybe I can get you that, and maybe one other thing, and I'm sure you would sell a lot of books, and probably pay for your trip, and, you know. Well, anyway, the reason she's not here is because I couldn't guarantee her, you know, the money. I told her, I'm a starving artist. I can't guarantee you a certain amount of money. And then she proceeded to call me a piece of shit. And now that, see, this autograph that she made, to lovey-dove, Dan and Azalia, best, Bettye. So what I want to say about that is that, I probably share the honor of, I just have a feeling that Lou Reed was also called a piece of shit by Bettye Kronstad. I just have this feeling. I don't know. I mean, you know, everybody has tumultuous relationships, but I was like, wow, how did I get to be a piece of shit already? I just don't even know you. But before that happened, she told me some really interesting stories about them and stuff that I can't even repeat in public, honestly. It's really intimate stuff, and I'm like, why is she telling me this? You know. But anyway, it would have been nice for her to be here, but we have Mary Warnoff and Dick and Jane and Angie Bowie's coming up. And, we're going to do, Janet has a question, yeah.
Why can't you tell us she called you a piece of
Janet, I'll tell you sometime privately. I am a man of my word. I mean, I don't like to gossip, really. But I just thought that was funny, the piece of shit part. Okay, so Dan and I, can we turn the lights down a little bit? I just got it so bright, I feel like I'm in the sun. It's not in the book, actually. But however, this book does have great stories. It's really excellent. In fact, Dan is going to read from the book. I almost forgot. Okay, so here we go. Dan West is going to read the beginning of Perfect Day. He's a very good reader, that's why I have to read it.
Yes, I learned to read. I did do that. Okay, so this is the first chapter. The Elevator, Chapter 1. New York City, winter 1968. Just as I pushed the down button, there was a ding and the elevator to my left opened, pouring a crowd of people out into the hospital hallway. After the last person stepped out, I took a step toward the empty elevator when suddenly a voice behind me cried, "Hey you, beautiful." The voice was compelling, an order, so I turned around. "Yeah, you," he said. I didn't say anything, but my eyes took in a skinny guy in a blue denim shirt with white mother-of-pearl snaps, half undone, exposing an abundant growth of chest hair. A wide, worn leather belt was slung low on his narrow hips, holding up his stylishly weathered bell-bottoms. The hems were appropriately frayed and shredded from being dragged on slick city streets and flared out around him in a perfectly composed puddle. His hair was in an afro, but a soft, curly, light brown one, carefully coiffed. He had his thumb hooked over his belt buckle, and the rest of his hand hung down, carefully pointing to his crotch. He was looking straight at me, a bemused but commanding expression on his face. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "You look normal." I took the punk in, paused a minute, then looked him straight in the eye. "I am," I said. By now he was standing directly in front of me. My first impression was that he had a serious ego, but I knew this often implied quite the opposite. He was disarming, the kind of guy who let you know how he felt about you. He didn't play any games. I turned on my heel and walked into the open and waiting elevator. Ouch! I felt a sting on my bottom. As I turned around to face the front of the elevator, I took a look once again at this wannabe rock star with a pretty face. He was smiling. Had this guy just slapped me on my bottom? I calmly stared forward, blatantly avoiding his gaze, ignoring him. I arranged a slight smile on my face that I hoped had just the right amount of a hint of a sneer. It gave me the look of an ice queen. And with my long-legged, fashionably thin Scandinavian blondness, if I kept my mouth shut long enough, people thought that's what I was. As the doors began to close, he shouted out, "I'm here to visit Lincoln. Do you know him?" I still didn't say anything, but yes, I knew Lincoln. He was a smart man who'd had an unfortunate accident when he made a suicide jump in front of a train at 59th Street in Lexington. Regrettably for him, his attempt failed, and he'd sliced off an arm and a leg instead. Quote, "Well, if you know Lincoln," said the skinny guy as he stuck out his hand to hold the elevator doors open, "ask him about me. My name is Lou Reed." He paused, so I had time to let the names sink in, like it should mean something to me, and continued to stand there staring at me. I had no idea who Lou Reed was. Later on, Lincoln told me he was the principal writer and lead singer of the Velvet Underground. Like everyone else in the city who was seriously interested in rock and roll, I'd heard of them, and I liked their music, but I hadn't gone out and bought any of their albums. For me, this certainly wasn't a love-at-first-sight experience, nor could I foresee the intensity that lay ahead of us. Our relationship would last 5 years. We were engaged for several of those years, although we were officially married for less than 1. While Lou projected a rock star persona, and there remained little doubt that his visceral, larger-than-life personality could pull off this act flawlessly, from where I was looking, he seemed dissipated, almost defenseless. It was like he was reaching out to me from some unknown place and was compelled to seek me out, perhaps without even knowing why. As we stared at each other, a myriad of unspoken messages traveled back and forth between us, and it was unmistakably transparent that whatever our communication said, it was not dependent upon language. The elevator door began to close, but he kept his hand over it, denying it permission. He saw on my face that his name had fallen on deaf ears. "I'm his best friend," he said. "Ask him." Again, the elevator wanted to close, and again he pushed it back, but it punched back at him again and again, banging and shuddering. Soon the alarm will go off, and all hell will break loose, I thought, especially in this place. But all I did was look at him as he looked at me. All at once, his hand fell slack at his side, and as the doors finally began to close, he continued to stand there, unmoving, staring at me with his confident but kind of silly, dazed expression on his face that didn't at all compliment the arrogant hipster who looked like he just stepped out of central casting. Then quietly he said, "So will you ask him about me?" That's when the doors closed, and I thought, with probably a faint sigh of relief escaping into the empty chamber, "Oh, that's all I need, another nut job." I'd only been in New York about 1.5 years. I'd started out in Greenwich Village in a 5th-floor walk-up, but now I was living in university housing near my soon-to-be ex-fiancée while I worked my way through a comparative literature English course for my bachelor's degree at Columbia, typing up the law professors' cases and conducting some of their research. But it wasn't until after the elevator doors completely closed, shifted gears, and began to drop that I pulled my jacket closer to me, inserted the razor-sharp teeth of my zipper into its box, and pulled it up to my neck, and immediately forgot about the dude with the, all right, I noticed, pouty Betty Boop lips and girlish, upturned nose, who nevertheless gave me my first and only butt slap.